Bacot.
Now Carolina has pretty much had their way in a tournament against Virginia, 13-4 all time. Carolina won it in 2016 in Washington, D.C. by beating Virginia. 2 years later, though, Virginia got revenge in the title game right here in Brooklyn.
And right now you see Francisco Cafaro getting the start versus Armando Bacot. Tony Bennett switching it back. Jayden Gardner was in the starting lineup yesterday, going back with the stronger Cafaro here tonight.
North Carolina playing awfully well right now. They're 11-2 in their last 13 coming in. And quickly here to Caleb Law, makes 38% beyond the three-point line. Already you can hear the Carolina faithful in the building very loudly. Leaky Black with the kick. Here's Bacot. And a misfire on the first one tonight.
And not that Bacot can't make that shot, but I'm not sure that was designed by Hubert Davis.
Clark Beekman, Franklin Gardner, and as you mentioned, Francisco Cafaro in that starting lineup for Virginia. They bid for their 20th win of the season. Gardner, top score at 15 again, looking for help. Here's Clark out high. And stolen away. That'll be picked off by Leaky Black. Outstanding defender. Here's their starting lineup tonight. Davis, Love, Black, Manek, and Bacot. Step back out to R.J. Davis. Also very dangerous beyond the three-point line for the Heels.
Over the matchup to watch in this one is going to be Jayden Gardner, all ACC versus the ACC Player of the Week. And Brady Manek. I think that's where this game is going to be won between those two players here tonight.
Bacot will flip that one up, around and out. He's 0 for 2, but Manek outfought everybody for the rebound on the reverse. He'll stick it.
And the first punch is thrown by Manek in that matchup. Not only the offensive rebound, but also the putback. Brady Manek playing very confident basketball here as he nears the end of his career in college basketball.
Yeah, 1,900 points between Oklahoma and Carolina. Jump shot on the way by Gardner. That won't drop for him. Nick, he's got about 2,000 career points as well.
Both these guys have done a lot of damage in other programs and now strong performers in ACC play.
R.J. Davis, that didn't touch a thing. Beekman underneath Cafaro, and a shove there and a whistle.
And now that's going to be a review. Roger Ayers right on top of that, seeing Cafaro come through with the elbow, connecting above the shoulders with Manek, and there's no flop. That one went all chin. You don't have to flop on Poppy. He brings the contact. And that goes back to what was a huge play in the first matchup between these two. It was an elbow from Armando Bacot to Jayden Gardner and knocked Gardner out of the game. And that was a difference maker for Virginia in that game. No Shedrick available to guard Bacot, who we talked about earlier, dominated that one.
So this is under official review. We'll see what they come up with here. The veteran officials, Roger Ayers and Jamie Luckey, over to take a look as you look at Tony Bennett, who has been Virginia's head coach since 2009, when they started at 15-16. Go on to build a national champion about a decade later. And Hubert Davis. Hubert knows New York very well. Of course, he was first-round draft pick of the New York Knicks in 1992. He was with Patrick Ewing when the Knicks went to the NBA Finals. And here's a shot by Cafaro.
Well, fortunately for Brady Manek, he's got the beard to absorb a little of that contact, but still hurts. Francisco Cafaro is a big, strong guy. He comes through with the elbows. He's going to do some damage.
What do you think? Is this more than just a basketball foul?
I believe it's going to be. I believe it's going to be a flagrant one, because when you're under the basket trying to throw the basketball back out, I believe that's probably going to come away with the flagrant one. Now, of course, way back when I played college basketball, that was a common foul. But I believe that right now, with the way the game is called, they could possibly come back with a flagrant one on this one.
We'll take a very long look here in the early moments of this game. 2-0 North Carolina. Roger Ayers there on your left on the toggle.
And the only reason I say a flagrant one, because if the rule is making contact above the shoulders, then that's why there will be the flagrant one. I do think it was a basketball play, as you see Cafaro clearing space. Caleb Love, of course, smart enough to get out of the way. He wanted no parts of that elbow. Brady Manek did not have a chance.
AJ Desai, the third official, looking for his opinion. And a lengthy delay here right off the bat for these two. North Carolina and Virginia. And let's see if they've come up with a decision on whether this is going to be a flagrant. And in the meantime, we can tell you we've got you covered on Selection Sunday bracketology, starting us off at 6 o'clock Eastern on ESPN with Reese and the guys breaking down the NCAA men's field of 68. The brackets are announced, and then on ESPN and ESPN2, it's our March Madness women's selection show, revealing the 68 teams. We look at every one of them and their matchup in each region with continuing coverage on ESPN2. And at 10 o'clock Eastern, even more coverage of both brackets. As always, you can watch everything streaming live on the ESPN app. So AJ is going to come over and explain this one to us.
Actually, it's going to be a common foul. So AJ Desai coming over and letting us know there's going to be a common foul on Cafaro. Continue to play on. And again, I like that call. I didn't think that would be the case because there was contact above the shoulders. But the officials deeming that it was a basketball move by Cafaro. Good to see that it was not a flagrant one.
So Cafaro heading to the bench. Shedrick is in for him, and that took a little over 4 minutes.
Well, and after a warm-up, it's almost like you cooled off once again. Now you got to see how these guys get going. Bacot was not good in the first couple of minutes, and right there you see the recovery from Shedrick getting involved, coming up with a block shot where he averages over 2 a game.
David Shedrick 6'11". During the regular season, 61 blocks. Franklin turns to fire. Big fight for the rebound and free to Davis. And picked off. That'll be stolen by Beekman. On the feed back to Franklin. He can't convert but a whistle. And a foul. 16:59 to go first half. Armando Franklin. And the foul on Davis will be number 1.
And it's a small thing, Obi, but Reese Beekman has shown us at times that he is an exceptional athlete. He gets that steal, gets out in the transition, though. R.J. Davis is back. I would love to see Reese Beekman just take off and dunk the basketball. And again, not that you don't want him being, giving up opportunities and passing the basketball, because that's what he does so well. But he's a much better player when he scores early and starts to see a much bigger basket. I like to see him aggressive early in the game.
Too unselfish?
A little too unselfish.
Caleb Love will pull up and fire. That missed ugly. Bacot though with the rebound. Remember, he had 22 when they met earlier. Davis straight on. Another one that clangs away. So nobody's scorching hot right out of the gate. Clark with a bounce for Gardner, muscling inside for 2.
And great job by Jayden Gardner, recognizing where he was on the floor and knowing that Brady Manek is not a shot blocker. He can score over the top of Manek, although he gives up 2 inches inside.
North Carolina with that win at Duke. Went 7-3 on the road in ACC play this season. 8-3 in all road games. It's blocked for the quick strike.
Great find from Manek on that possession. And more importantly, Leaky Black relocating to where his teammate can find him, sealing off K.A. Clark.
The Cavaliers beating Louisville 51-50 last night. Real rock fight there. Outlasted the Cardinals to get to this round. Winner moving on to the semifinals. K.A. Clark will lose it on the dribble. Turned over back to Black. Ahead to Love. On the finish, Davis will lay it in. Carolina by 2. Beekman high. Here's Beekman lining up a 3. Yes, nice touch.
And Virginia did not make a three-pointer in their win yesterday. 0 for 6 from 3 and still winning a game. Reese Beekman knocking down the three, starting out confidently. But when I talk about him being aggressive, this is an example of what I love to see from Reese Beekman. The tacos I just ate between games because I had smoke coming out of my ears. They got to label the salsa. And I got big ears. That's a lot of smoke.
Oh, you can get it done quick. Manek on the turnaround, and that won't fall for him. He had 19 in their victory over Virginia at Chapel Hill. Cavaliers, the number 6 seed. They do a great job not turning it over as they always do, but Franklin can't connect in close.
And Franklin has struggled thus far in Brooklyn. 0 for 8 for him in yesterday's matchup, and Virginia needs his scoring for them to be successful. They're going to have to put points on the board against this North Carolina team.
Zip to Bacot. There's Leaky Black. Shot clock a factor now, down to 4 for Carolina. Back to Manek. He can hit the three-pointer, and he does. But the shot clock winding down to nothing.
Under duress, Brady Manek doing a great job gathering and staying poised, even with Jayden Gardner flying at him, contesting the shot.
Clark flips it up, not there. The rebound comes to Manek. North Carolina in search of their 24th victory of the season. Going to get a long run from Black. Had a great look off the back of the iron though. So Carolina one and done. Clark, the point guard beyond the three. To the lane, slamming on the brakes and short. Splitting the defense. Love leaning in. No foul. Tight defense there. That was Beekman again, one of the best defenders in the country.
We got 2 of them in this game when you consider Beekman and Leaky Black on the other side. 2 first-team all-defensive ACC players, and then, of course, third-team all-ACC Jayden Gardner putting on a first-team performance.
With 17 in the victory over Louisville. To get here to the quarterfinals, Davis kicks it out. Manek's open again and hits it again. Another triple.
He's a problem. When you consider the attention that Armando Bacot draws, that means you have to choose whether you're going to allow Bacot to catch the basketball near the rim or you're going to get out and guard Brady Manek. And Virginia hasn't been able to guard Manek yet.
Franklin swings for Beekman. Wants the paint. Big drive blocked by Bacot. He got his hand on it. That triggers the fast break. On the drive, Love. He scoops and a whistle. And a blocking foul against Virginia. The foul on Franklin.
With the exchange, as Bacot screens off Gardner, giving Brady Manek the split second that he needs to knock down another three. And he really is a weapon for this North Carolina team. They play so differently than they did under Roy Williams, where Coach Williams normally had 2 bigs on the floor. Now with Brady Manek as that stretch floor, he stretches things out and creates opportunities for Bacot on the inside, but also adds another 40% shooter from 3.
That includes their famous fast break too, doesn't it?
It really does, but when you look at what Manek is able to do, spacing the floor, it opens up lanes for Caleb Love, R.J. Davis as well to be able to attack the basket.
Love terrific at the line, 88%. North Carolina leads the ACC at the foul line at 77%. And they have opened up a 14-9 advantage over Virginia. North Carolina, the number 3 seed. They won the 1997 ACC title as the number 3 in Greensboro. DeFaro back in. He's commanding the ball. Up against Bacot. Banging up against each other. Trying to spin. And a block. Another one for Bacot. Boy, he has really done a job on Virginia. Back-to-back games. And here's another slam. Armando Bacot showing up again.
Similar to Reese Beekman. When Caleb Love is aggressive, attacking downhill, making plays not just for himself but his teammates, a great passer once he gets into the painted area.
7-0 run here for the Tar Heels. Gardner fires, can't find the range. He keeps chasing. Here's Love, way downtown, and too strong. D.A. Clark. And we'll set it up now for Tony Bennett. Cody Stackman into the game now as Clark takes to the paint, floats one up there, but it won't drop. Love really pushing it. North Carolina on the attack. The follow, that won't go. A couple of opportunities there for Puck Johnson.
Obi, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think this has to be the first time that a player has played against his former team in the ACC tournament. As we watch Justin McCoy getting minutes for North Carolina, who was a part of Virginia's team last year.
A great dish and terrific defense on the other end by Cafaro to stop the dunk from Bacot. Franklin on the spin, no. Just nothing falling right now for the Cavaliers.
But when you consider right now the pace of this game is being played at North Carolina's pace, and that's what Tony Bennett doesn't like about the quick shots on one end of the floor, especially for Virginia when you have to work so hard on the defensive end.
Love lost the dribble and lost the basketball. So it'll be Virginia ball when we come back. 9:56 remaining in the half.
Armando Bacot getting it done on both ends of the floor, coming up with the big block. And then as most
for North Carolina, they are the #1 rebounding team in the ACC. 9:56 remaining in the first half. This quarterfinal, the winner moving on into Friday's semifinals against Virginia Tech at 9:30.
And North Carolina off to a decent start offensively, but only shooting 33.3% from the field, but Virginia at 20%. So you have to give North Carolina credit defensively, getting the job done and stopping the Virginia attack.
Gardner pulls up and swishes in two. They need a lot of Jayden Gardner tonight.
Well, he does a great job of finding the right spot for him. I mean, he knows where his bread is buttered. It's in the mid-range, and more importantly, Tony Bennett runs action to find him in those spots.
Manek took a tumble, quickly back up on his feet. Here's Leaky Black. And swished in. Justin McCoy getting into the fray.
Yeah, the aforementioned Justin McCoy, who was with Virginia for the past 2 seasons, now transferring to the rival, made a three-pointer in the first matchup between these two, and off to a good start here tonight as well.
Gardner again banging on McCoy, and that spins out. Davis quick. Here's Manek. Got another one. Another triple for Brady Manek.
But that's when you know you're hot. Brady Manek, as soon as he saw the split from R.J. Davis, was clapping his hands, knowing I'm next. I'm going to get a look right here. He didn't even have to watch that one go through.
Foul stops the clock with about 8.5 minutes to go. Manek 40% for the season from three-point land. Shooting over a lot of guards at 6'9".
But you see Brady Manek already locked and loaded. As soon as R.J. Davis split the trap, he knew he was going to get an opportunity and was able to knock down his third three-pointer on the evening.
24 at Louisville against Duke. He scored 21 and then 20 at 22 against Syracuse.
For his efforts last week, the reigning ACC Player of the Week, playing his best basketball late in his career.
Franklin puts it to the deck and short. Davis wants to get it and go. Went for the scoop. He got too far underneath and caught the backboard. With 8:15 remaining. And North Carolina to maintain as Bacot comes back in. Short rest for Armando. He's having an outstanding year. 17 points, 13 rebounds a game. Named to the All-ACC first team. He was, in fact, the top vote getter. Finished second player of the year, voting to Alondes Williams of Wake Forest.
I'm sure this isn't a matchup that Hubert Davis has imagined much with McCoy at the small forward on the floor with Bacot and Brady Manek. But Justin McCoy earning minutes in the eyes of Hubert Davis, who plays a very short bench at this point in the season.
Statman trying to get in close off the fake. And a fouling violation.
Places and finds himself wide open at the top of the key. Great execution by North Carolina in the pick and roll.
Now that little picture we have of Manek is so outdated. We've got to update that because that's the old hairstyle. That's before the Bill Walton look. Right here with the full beard and everything. It looks like a different guy.
He really does. But I tell you what, he's also got some Larry Bird look into his game when you think about someone at 6'9" shooting the basketball this way.
Well, Duke, Miami, and Virginia Tech are all in the semifinals. We've got one more to go. Bacot will swing it out high for Davis. 7.5 minutes left in the first half, and Carolina on top 21-11. Davis on Clark. 3 to get off the shot as it's tipped out of bounds by Beekman. And Leaky Black back on now for Hubert Davis. Leaky named to the ACC's all-defensive team. He's number 3 in voting for ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Davis had to crank one up where the shot clock was winding down to nothing. Here's steal there by Black. He gets his fair share picking him like that.
He really does, and you're talking about one of the most versatile defenders in the ACC as well. You see him guarding Kihei Clark right now, but has guarded Paolo Banchero. He's been all throughout guarding 1s through 4s all year long.
Manek wants the basketball. He'll dump it down to Bacot, backing in. Lots of moves there. Can't connect though from short range.
And a great job by Shedrick not falling for any of the moves, and more importantly, not jumping, getting in the air and picking up the foul.
Bacot had a string of 13 straight double-digit rebounding games. At one point, he averages 13 boards a game. Clark flips that one out to midcourt, nearly threw it away. And now Jamie Lucky is going to get together with A.J. Desai and talk about that, and if that's a backcourt violation.
Yeah, I believe they're going to see if anyone from North Carolina touched that basketball before Franklin tracked it down. If not, that's going to be a backcourt violation, and the basketball will go to North Carolina.
Take a look.
You see Kihei Clark throwing the pass. R.J. Davis does touch the basketball, so at that point, Franklin is able to gather. Virginia will keep the basketball.
And
great job by this officiating crew, Jamie Lucky and A.J. Desai, getting together and clarifying it. But not in possession, so the shot clock will not reset.
And stuck at 10. Clark to put it in front of the scorers table here at the Barclays Center. Last game of the day. Beekman scooping in. Shedrick with a slam.
And oftentimes that's the best offense for Virginia. Just get it up on the glass, allow the shot blocker to go over, and Caden Shedrick can clean up the mess.
Cavaliers looking for run. Beekman took a pretty good hit from Bacot there. Manek with a little fall away. Yes, so he is cooking.
Yeah, but you got to call that screen out. You can't allow your guard to get hit like that. I still have nightmares from being hit like that at times, Obi. That's not a fun feeling when you get left out to dry like Reese Beekman just did.
Manek's been the star underneath, and a little bit too much there for Shedrick. Davis so quick. They'll shovel it up there. It won't drop. Taps in his own miss and took a tumble. Heck of a play. And Davis apparently all right. He takes a lick and keeps on taking 25-13. Plays, but Carolina's had the better of it.
Yeah, Reese Beekman not knowing the screen was coming. That's on Shedrick to call it out. Armando Bacot standing still, but getting the contact, and then R.J. Davis attacking the basket. The nice follow-up after making the mistake of shooting the floater. See, he shoots the pull-up jump shot. He doesn't have to worry about falling on the floor.
You don't like the floater? Have we pinned down that yet, that it's not something you're a fan of?
I'm not a fan of the floater, but again, Dre, I'm sure you were in a scenario at times where you got hit by a screen like that. You were a pressure defender, right?
Yes, and that was the most frustrating play. When you're out picking up the ball 94 feet, I understand where Reese Beekman is coming from. Our post players will be way back in the paint, Corey. I'm like, where you at?
Dre, I got hit like that a couple times, and I immediately said, I'm not passing you the ball anymore. That was always my response. I don't want to fight the big fella.
I'm just impressed that you played defense to get hit by the screen, Corey. That's solid.
Dre,
the rookie.
No, she's no rookie when it comes to getting at me, OB, and I appreciate that. I only played defense when I was playing against a big-name guard, though.
Davis will back away here. I love how the first-year player, at least as a broadcaster, will throw a haymaker. Corner jumper won't drop. Manek trying to keep it alive. But Virginia comes away with a basketball. They need a serious run. It's a 16-4 run for Carolina over 8.5 minutes.
But this is where North Carolina has improved throughout the season. Oftentimes they've been lackluster on defense, but you see the attention to detail right now against Virginia on that end of the floor. And it has Virginia really not getting any of the good looks. That's one that Jayden Gardner normally makes, unable to finish it off on that possession.
North Carolina 15-5 in the ACC. They finished tied for second place. They are the number 3 seed, and that's going to be a blocking foul with 3:59 remaining before halftime. And from Brooklyn, ESPN's exclusive presentation of college. What's her name? Kelsey?
Yeah, her.
Kelsey Riggs. We suffered a bit of this fumble here.
I know, my girl Kelsey with the turnover yesterday against with Red Panda.
Red Panda, who needed a little more help than Kelsey could provide. Kelsey was thoroughly booed by the crowd here, and I thought justifiably.
No, they got to take it easy on my girl Kelsey.
This is the home of the Nets. They beat Philly 129-100. As Manek unleashes another one, but not this time. He has 13 points. That's as many as Virginia has as a team. 25-13 Carolina. Beekman back out high for Statman. Airmailed that one. And it has been that kind of half for the Cavaliers.
I'm going to call that a tentative shot. When you think about it, there was nothing confident at all about Cody Statman. He wasn't decisive on taking that shot at all. Very tentative, letting that one go.
It is the definition of a tentative shot, yes. And a whistle here as they try and feed Bacot again. Bacot had that monster game in the first contest against Virginia. 29 points, 22 rebounds in January.
Only 2 points right now. 5 rebounds for Bacot, and Virginia basically saying someone else is going to have to beat us, and that someone else is Brady Manek, who right now has 15 points, 2 more than Virginia.
6 of 9 shooting. And the Tar Heels starting to settle in. Reese Beekman with that game-winning shot against Duke. Can't find a range here. That is off Virginia. Now for tonight's Need to Know, brought to you by Principal Financial Group.
Armando Bacot with 29 points and 22 rebounds in his first ever win over University of Virginia. Of course, Bacot from Richmond, Virginia. And right now, tonight, only 2 points and 5 rebounds.
The ACC's rebounding and field goal percentage leader. Back up top for Manek. He wants to shoot it every time down. He will. And draws the foul with 2:35 left in the half.
He's supposed to want to shoot it every time down. When you're 6 for 9 from the field and you've already knocked down 3 threes, you're supposed to want to let it fly every time you touch it.
67% at the line. For the man from Oklahoma, swishes in number 1. Cavaliers will bring back on Francisco Cafaro, the 7-footer from Argentina.
The win for North Carolina over Virginia in January broke a 7-game losing streak for the Tar Heels versus the Cavaliers. But the one thing that is different is Brady Manek. Because when you're playing 4 out 1 in with that level of a shooter, it doesn't allow you to really double team and gang up on the big man on the interior. And Brady Manek has been a difference maker in this series between the two teams.
Now the miss for the Cavaliers is all Carolina to this point. Closing in on a semifinal appearance. Davis back to Manek. He's open again. Cafaro with the rebound.
And a big lineup for Virginia right now with Shedrick and Cafaro both on the floor as Shedrick takes on the task of trying to slow down Brady Manek.
Franklin had to come off the foot, but he collects that. Here's Kihei Clark. They're looking for somebody, anyone to get them going. That's short. Shedrick comes up empty.
But the problem for Virginia is when you take Jayden Gardner off the floor, you don't have that scoring on the other end. And that's been an issue for Virginia. Whenever they have to take him off, they don't have that player to play through on the interior.
Bacot draws the double. Good ball movement here by Carolina. Here's Love. Rebounded away inside by Leaky Black. Here's Davis.
And that's what did Virginia in the first game as well. You worked it hard defensively, but then you give up the offensive rebound. And now North Carolina has you in a situation where you're going to have to play defense for another 20 seconds.
A lot of North Carolina fans in attendance in Brooklyn. They've enjoyed this first half. Here's Black. Yeah, hits it. Calling out a two-pointer. In the final seconds. 31-13 on the two. Virginia scoreless for over 5.5 minutes. Franklin trying to end that. He can't. And North Carolina and Hubert Davis will take a timeout, drop a play here with a pretty commanding lead with about half a minute to go before halftime in Brooklyn.
Now is the time to experience Lexus at the Invitation to Lexus sales event.
Get $1,500 lease cash toward a 2022 RX 350.
These new Goldfish Megabytes are technically a reboot. A childhood icon, just bigger, bolder, and cheesier.
We're childhood icons. Will they reboot us?
With bigger, bolder, cheesier hunks? You look great.
New Goldfish Megabytes, bigger, bolder, and cheesier.
Well, North Carolina looking very confident and relaxed on top 31-13, Corey, about a half a minute before the break.
But when you consider this North Carolina team coming off a huge win over Duke, at Duke on Saturday, but in that performance, they scored 90 points. That was an offensive win. What you're seeing from North Carolina right now is them settling in defensively. So this team is getting better when you consider that they're playing well on both ends of the floor. And more importantly, they can win games where they're not scoring big. 31 points at a half is not a lot for North Carolina.
13, though, is minuscule for Virginia. So last seconds of half number one, Bacot handing off for Love. Manek on the move with the reverse, and he makes another one. He's had a great first half to make it 33-13. Here's the heave by Beekman. That won't fall. Very little did for the Cavaliers. And how about this? It's the lowest scoring ACC tournament first half in the shot clock era. And Virginia with only 13 points in the ACC tournament.
Just flat. The offensive rebound and the reverse layup for the first 2 points of the game for North Carolina, and he has not slowed down since. 3 for 6 from beyond the three-point arc, attacking the basket with dunks, finishing it off opportunities, and he has been a problem for Virginia all night long.
He has 19 points. Virginia as a team stuck at 13. North Carolina also passing it very well. 10 assists on 13 field goals. They've dominated in every phase, and right away, Virginia loses the basketball.
In the worst possible scenario for Virginia, coming out of the half and turning the basketball over in their first possession.
quickly. Bacot with a touch. He'll turn and hits. So off to a quick start in the second 20.
Well, one thing you most likely won't see is a double team against Armando Bacot, because Tony Bennett's probably thinking at this point, twos don't hurt him as much as the threes from Brady Manek.
That's going to rattle in for Virginia. Franklin, 6'4" junior out of Indianapolis.
And that's Franklin's first basket in the ACC tournament. Now 1 for 13 from the field.
Bacot handing off here to Caleb Love. Back to him. Tiptoeing on that baseline and gives it up to Kihei Clark. Running the offense, the senior out of Woodland Hills, California. A good game against Louisville. In the last round, he had 15. But nobody's doing that here against Carolina.
And Kihei Clark scoreless in the first half as well. When you think about Virginia, oh, that was a beautiful pass.
Here's Davis. Bacot keeping it alive, taps it out. And it'll go the other way. It'll be Virginia ball. We take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Audi. Carolina closing that first half on a 17-2 run. And the paltry numbers for the Cavaliers, shooting just 19%.
Virginia went 6 minutes and 15 seconds to close the second half without a point. And it's hard to win in any phase of the game. And that's the case.
Gardner swishes in two. He's been occasionally a bright spot, although 4 for 10 from the field. He has 8 points. Andrea Carter, our third on the team, and Andrea, you had a chance to chat with Tony Bennett.
Yeah, Obi actually chatted with Jason Williford, associate head coach for Virginia, coming out. Tony Bennett was pretty locked in, as was the team. They walked out of the locker room completely silent. No one said a word, so I know Virginia faithful are just hoping that they were focused, not defeated. But Coach Williford said they have to be better defensively one-on-one against Bacot, because if you have to give help to him, someone else is going to get off and have a big scoring night. That's going to be really tough. And offensively, they just have to be free. He said, we're too tense, we're too tight.
And Dre, I can tell you one person who did say some words. It would be Jason Williford. No way he can stay quiet in a locker room with a team that scored 13 points and took tentative shots on the offensive end of the floor.
Caleb Love at the line, 88% there, and misses that one. But still up by 20, North Carolina. They're going to play their way into the semifinals. Duke, Miami, and Virginia Tech are all there. The winner of this one does take on the Hokies, who continue a terrific run in the tournament. Here's Beekman lining one up. That came off his hand ugly. Cavaliers with too many shots like that so far tonight. Bacot has it taken away. Stolen by Franklin. He wants to run. And Bacot comes from behind and commits a foul. As he got back into the play, 17 minutes to go.
Not a lot of fouls in this game. Only 6 free throws in the first half. And now Virginia will get an opportunity to go to the free throw line and put some more points on the board. But with a team that doesn't play fast in a normal scenario, it's oftentimes difficult to come back when you get this far behind. And Virginia's not a great scoring team as well. So when you think about all those things in combination, but North Carolina has had trouble with turnovers at times that can have a possibility to be able to allow Virginia to get turnovers and get back into this game.
Manek with another rebound. We're right about Virginia too. It's 33% from the three-point line. You think a team's coming back down by 20 or whatever. When they do pull it off, it's usually teams that can stick that three, like this guy can, but Manek missing there. So he remains at 19 points. Still has more than Virginia does as a team, all by himself. Here's Clark. And that one goes right underneath the net and all the way out of bounds. And Tony Bennett doesn't know what to do at this point.
Well, you have to remember Kihei Clark, Reese Beekman, Two of the top 8 minute-per-game guys in the ACC, and they played heavy minutes last night. And normally when your shots are coming up this short, oftentimes that is a sign of tired legs. And I'm not sure if Virginia's able to battle through this fatigue.
Bacot gets the handle. Here's Manek on another reverse, and Bacot will tip it in. 39-18. Carolina fans started showing up about midway through the first quarterfinal we had tonight. And they are indeed here in force in Brooklyn. Gardner. And a lot of iron, but no. Black with a rebound. Caleb Love. They will swing here to Davis. Davis, good three-point man. And a whistle. And Virginia with a foul. Tournament rolling into the semifinals. And of course, the championship game on Saturday evening right here from Brooklyn. Black, nicely done, kissing that one off the window to extend that lead to 41-18. And how about this? Yeah, it's a slump all right for Virginia. 69 points scored at this point in the tournament. 3+ halves.
And Obi, if I told you when you were an ACC coach that you could be shooting 37.5% and 18.8% from three-point land, 3 for 16, and you'd have a 23-point lead, you wouldn't believe me, would you?
I would not.
That's because Virginia is struggling mightily on the offensive end of the floor. Nothing going right for Virginia on that end. And North Carolina not having a great offensive night, but looks beautiful in comparison to what they've seen from their opponents.
Manek with a quick step, but can't finish it off. He's angry with himself. He has not scored in the second half after a great first half. We put in 19.
Well, of course, you know, when you and I talked about this before, you get 19 in the first half, you're thinking, oh, it's a 38-point night. But Brady Manek hasn't been able to get going offensively here in the second half. Jayden Gardner is able to get some points on the board for Virginia, but too far and few when you think about what Virginia's doing in the offensive end right now.
And they finally get to 20. It felt like it took forever. Bacot is going to go hard into the lane. It hasn't been his night. It certainly was the first time they met. And many times this season, he's been the #1 star for North Carolina, churning their way to the NCAA tournament. As Franklin lines one up, then it's around and out. But Carolina has had a big answer. And Brady Manek, a 6'9" grad. Here's Black open. That's in and out.
And a great look for Leaky Black in the corner off the nice penetration from Caleb Love. Unable to knock it down. But you see the maturation of Caleb Love. That's a play before he would have taken for himself. But does a great job trying to incorporate his teammates.
Clark dribbling around through the lane and knocks down 2. I'm sure you were glued to your TV as I was earlier today watching both of the games. And Duke and Syracuse was a terrific basketball game. So was Miami and Boston College. That was decided at the buzzer in overtime, much like our game with Virginia Tech last night. Bacot for 2. But what an effort by the Syracuse Orange. Totally outmanned without Buddy Boeheim, who was suspended for the game. And there were many times in that game it looked like they were going to come out on top.
It really did. And you asked me last night, what does Syracuse have to do without Buddy Boeheim? And I told you then they're going to have a performance from Jimmy Boeheim.
Yes.
And they got exactly that, but they didn't get the Cole Swider performance that we had seen previously as Caleb Love continues to pile it on for North Carolina, knocking down the 3. And everything is going for the Heels, nothing for the Hoos. A great nickname, but you didn't really recognize the relevance of it until we came to Brooklyn, and you showed how much, and you saw how much love
That's correct.
is associated with that name.
And now I grasp it, and it's even more embarrassing because I don't deserve it. But thank you, Corey. My marvelous partner downstairs at a quick strike. They just haven't done a whole lot of that tonight, obviously, but Shedrick able to lay it in.
The back-to-back baskets for Caden Shedrick. running the floor. And of course, this Virginia team, even though things aren't going their way, they're not going to stop playing hard. They're going to continue to play hard. It's simply about whether they can find a way to get some type of rhythm on the offensive end of the floor and put points on the board.
Love lifts and swishes in another triple. He's 38% beyond the three-point line. Made 6 of them against Florida State in a Carolina win. So he can flat fill it up. You hear Clark's pass, a little too much on that. Out it goes, and back over to Carolina. And another timeout. 11:38 to go, 49-26, North Carolina. A solid minute and a half. Just talk with the coaches. I know there are other coaches who do this, but he'll get everybody's opinion, talk about what they're seeing, what they need to do differently adjustment-wise, and then he walks over to his team.
Well, Tony Bennett does a great job empowering his coaches, and when you think about the roles that each and every one of their coaches has, Jason Williford is responsible for underneath out-of-bounds plays, and of course 2 game winners for them this year, one against Pittsburgh and of course the famous one against Duke. But he gives his assistant coaches opportunities to be able to have a lot of input in the game planning, but still keeping a firm grasp on his control of his team.
Hubert Davis giving some of his subs some minutes here, and that includes Puck Johnson with it now. Mentioned McCoy, who played a little bit in the first half. Shot clock is down to 2. And it's Love again. That one barely got there. And under 11 left. With Carolina, big lead, 49-26, closing in on a semifinal in the ACC tournament, and a showdown with Virginia Tech. It's Kihei Clark to swish in a triple.
And Virginia now with 2 made three-pointers in this game, 2 more than they made in the matchup yesterday against Louisville. And moving forward, that is going to be something that has to be addressed in the offseason. How can Virginia become a better scoring team, but still find a way to play the same level and even better defense? A very good recruiting class coming in for Tony Bennett. We'll see throughout the offseason, does Kihei Clark use his COVID year, come back? But you still have a strong foundation of players within the program right now returning.
Scooped up by Love. Quick dish there to Manek. And he gets 2 more. Give him 21.
You know, another thing we've seen for North Carolina, Caleb Love and R.J. Davis both done a great job splitting traps. That's not something you normally see from Virginia, who are some of the best in guarding pick-and-roll action, especially when you consider hedging.
51-29. Bacot reporting back in for North Carolina. He's not had the scoring game that he might typically have, but that's been picked up certainly in a big way by Brady Manek, who's had a great night with 21 points. Clark trying to check it in. Beekman back to Clark. It's all ACC honorable mention this season. Shedrick trying to take that baseline, but a whistle. With 8 on the shot clock, so a number of fouls here in the last few minutes. Now, if it is North Carolina to move on and advance to the semifinals against Virginia Tech, and of course you've got Duke, the #1 seed, against Miami, the #4. How do you see it playing out in the semifinals?
Well, you have to go back and remember that Miami went into Cameron Indoor and beat Duke earlier this year. So the Blue Devils are going to have a chip on their shoulder in that game. And then you look at this one. I was in the building when North Carolina went in and beat Virginia Tech at Castle Coliseum. One of the very few losses that the Hokies have had as of late. And I know this is going to be a big game for Virginia Tech when you consider the fact that they're still fighting for their NCAA tournament live.
Well, Davis with the strip. Bacot goes diving for it. He came up empty. He'll swing for Clark off the fake. Stepping down the lane and plows right into his defender. And Carolina wins it right back. Davis hits the deck. Man, that's going to be a traveling violation, and it's gotten sloppy. 8:47 left. Well, I'll tell you what, you said it early in the Hokies' victory against Notre Dame. You've got a team playing very, very well there in Virginia Tech. It was another game for them in the tournament that Notre Dame did not have. Notre Dame had to show up and get rolling tonight. They never could do it. Hokies, as mentioned, are playing awfully well. They have a dramatic and incredible win at the buzzer in overtime already in this tournament. We all know magical things happen in tournaments like that.
Well, and when you consider coming into the ACC tournament, there were 3 teams on the bubble: Wake Forest, Virginia, Virginia Tech. Right now, Virginia Tech is passing the eye test when you consider what they've done here in Brooklyn thus far and the opportunity they have coming up, especially when you're shooting the basketball as well as they have.
Davis can't bury it. Kept alive by Johnson. And another effort coming here for the Tar Heels. Under 8 minutes to go. Been plenty of drama. We've had 3 overtime games in this tournament. Davis with the shot clock winding down will hit it. Davis, the sophomore from White Plains, New York, to make it 53-29. He's ranked only 29 points to this point by the Cavaliers. And they won last night by scoring 51.
But they knew coming into this game, 51 points was not going to be enough to beat North Carolina. Carolina already with 53, and at this point, the question becomes, does Virginia even get the 50 points in this game?
Clark with the foul, 53-31 with 7:18 remaining. The Dickey, we've missed him virtually all season long. Now, you originally committed to the University of Arizona to play for Lute Olson before you had a great career at Virginia, which is where you went. But Dickie V had something to do with you committing to Arizona, didn't it?
He absolutely did. It was a very short commitment, but after winning the preseason NIT at the Madison Square Garden, and Lute Olson had Dickie V say my name during that game on air, saying that Lute Olson was waiting on a commitment from me. And after the game, Coach Olson calls me and says, "Are you ready to be a part of this?" And I said, "Yes, I was going. I was headed to Arizona, went upstairs, told my mom."
He called you from the locker room.
He called me from the locker room after the game. Told my mom, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to Arizona." And she said, "No, the blank, you're not."
Because she could. You were a teenager. You were 17.
I was 17 years old. I could not sign my own letter of intent. And Mom said, "We're not going to Arizona." And, but had a great visit to Arizona. And congratulations to you, as well as Major League Baseball. I got an opportunity to see my host at the University of Arizona, Tony Clark, on air all day today, who is, of course, the president of Major League Baseball Players Association, correct?
That is correct.
And baseball back in action. I know you have to be happy about that.
I could not be happier, and I got to tell you, incredibly relieved, because I had my doubts about whether they were going to put this thing together relatively quickly. Beekman went for the slam, and he'll take a foul. And he will be to the line. But that's right, Major League Baseball, Cub fans everywhere, even here in New York City, getting back at it. April 7 will be opening day. MLB plans to get all 162 games in. Players already moving towards spring training, and the camp's opening up on Sunday for everybody.
I know you're a Red Sox guy, but of course, when I put on my hat, I got to put my new blue Yankee on.
Okay.
Jay-Z line, of course. We're here in Ho's house when you think about the Jiggle Man, and you see Jay-Z, who was at one point part owner of the Brooklyn Nets, so this is their home. And
I've met Jay-Z.
Oh, okay. Well, of course you have. You're the Notorious D.O.B.
Incredibly impressive individual. I mean, cooler than cool. That was my thought. That I'll never be in a room with anyone that cool the rest of my life. Until you and I started working.
Oh, hey, I tell you, I appreciate the love, my man.
Duke and Miami coming up at 7 tomorrow. Virginia Tech awaiting the winner of this one. North Carolina quickly moving that way. Davis denied, but not on the second effort.
Obi, you said Corey was the coolest, but you forgot I was over here, right? You forgot we just met, just got to hang out. Are you going to adjust that statement?
I am. He's the coolest gentleman.
There we go. There we go. Good save.
And you are the coolest rookie we have at ESPN for sure. No question about that. Because we can get away with that, at least for now, Andre. We can get away with calling you a rookie.
Correct. The more jokes I make on Corey, the more my stock rises.
Well, that's how you got to be uncool today when you took that shot at me earlier today.
Now you got to keep that coming. Andrea knows that.
Dre, I will have to say that may be the best one I've taken. I've taken a lot of shots in my lifetime, but that was one of the best I've heard.
I'm just getting started, Corey.
I know this.
Will drain a three, so it's been a good night for most of the Tar Heels as they lead it 58-34. And they put this game out of reach relatively quickly. Virginia unable to catch up at any point. Beekman up high. The drive and kick for Gardner. Too strong for him. And again, if you were not with us, Virginia was held to 13 points. That is the lowest half of scoring anyone's ever had in the history of the ACC tournament. In the shot clock era. There's 13 points. Fewest points in the first half in the shot clock era. Just amazing. Love with the drive off the window, but not there. And he goes in to the cheerleading section. On the other end, nice shot there by Gardner. Jayden Gardner has been pretty much a lone spark with 15 points for Virginia.
He really has, and that's been the case too often this season for Virginia, where it's been just Jayden Gardner on the offensive end of the floor. And coming into this game, you would have needed a strong performance offensively from Kihei Clark, which Virginia got last night, but unable to get it done here today.
5 to shoot for the Heels. Davis zips the pass inside for Bacot in the slam. So Carolina getting the 24th double-double this season out of Armando.
And that is a North Carolina single-season record, breaking the tie with Bryce Johnson back in 2016, where Johnson played 40 games and North Carolina lost in the national championship to Villanova.
Davis stripped down. It could be the #1 story.
I agree, especially when you consider that the Net Sixers showdown turned out a lot like this one we've had here today. I was excited for this Virginia-North Carolina matchup. It definitely did not live up to the billing.
Yes, I think we all were. #3 seed against the #6 seed. North Carolina came in playing really well. They're about to go 12-2 in their last 14 games. A nice little win streak going here. And about to pick up win number 24 on the year.
And North Carolina's a team that's starting to really get things going the right direction at the right time. And when you get to the ACC tournament and you're playing this well, and again, in a different fashion, we talked about scoring 90+ points at Duke on Saturday, coming into this one and getting the job done defensively. And not that Virginia's offense didn't help, but you have to give North Carolina a lot of credit for the way they came in and defended in this game.
No question. That made all the difference in that first half. So coming up in the last 2 minutes, and the field will be set. It'll be Duke and Miami at 7 o'clock. That'll be tomorrow with Jay Billis, Dan Schulman, and Holly Rowe coming your way. And then Virginia Tech and North Carolina in the second semifinal of the ACC tournament at 9:30. They'll have that for you as well. And then the championship game on Saturday evening on ESPN here from Brooklyn. And you moving on to do the SWAC tournament championship, correct?
I will be in Birmingham, Alabama on Saturday at 6 p.m. calling the SWAC championship game. And
you're amazing.
Enough time to be able to watch the ACC championship game when it's over.
You are relentless and incredible with your travel schedule as you continue to press your way to Delta Diamond class.
I got to get to Diamond.
Poindexter straight on for 3. And Andrea Carter, what is up next for you? Andrea, what's next on your schedule?
I have the selection show on the SEC network on Sunday, and then the women's NCAA tournament after that.
And
tremendous.
Obi, you'll be participating in the women's NCAA tournament as well, correct?
Indeed, I will. It's an event that's very close to my heart. I called, 8 women's Final Fours and national champions over the years, and delighted to be able to do some more games. I think it's a great event, marvelous tournament, and terrific people. I love the event. So really looking forward to it.
I will be tuned in. And it's always an exciting tournament to be able to watch. We've had a lot of drama in the women's Final Four over these past few years. A bunch of buzzer beaters and game winners, and a lot of fun.
And nothing beats a Final Four. 51.6 to go. And North Carolina can celebrate. Their fans here in New York City, and there are plenty of those who will celebrate tonight. But they are off into the semis now to take on the Hokies. We're playing terrific basketball as well. Shedrick bouncing inside. Duke is the #1 seed. They certainly look like it today as they held off a spirited Syracuse team. Great effort by Jim Boeheim's team, Miami. And Jim Larrañaga also had a marvelous effort today in overtime to beat Boston College, which was a story in this tournament.
It really was. Earl Clark had his team prepared to come in and be successful in this tournament, and Earl Grant, I'd say Earl Clark have done just that and had a great performance for them. We ran into Mike Lepre, the SID for Boston College, and very complimentary of him and his team coming in and the way they performed here in Brooklyn.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun to go as deep as they did all the way to today in the quarterfinal round. So Shedrick will be at the line. Big sophomore from Holly Springs, North Carolina. And a 73% foul shooter, misses the first.
And props to Hubert Davis. Successful first year, replacing a legend on the sideline. Not an easy job to take on. And Hubert told us a couple weeks ago, hey, there are a lot of good things going on at Carolina. And I'm not sure people are recognizing them, but they're starting to see them now, especially after that huge win on Saturday.
Well, they are playing well at the right time. Carolina's done that a lot over the years, and they win this one 63-43. This was never a contest tonight.
It really was not. North Carolina, from the start, was the aggressor. Brady Manek was a difference maker in the first half, and it was pretty much all academic after that for the Heels.
So our semifinal bracket is set. It'll be Duke and Miami, Virginia Tech taking on this North Carolina team. All coming up in